Welcome to Around the Diamond podcast with Alec and Brad. Let's dive right in. Today on the show, we are predicting 2 months in advance the opening day roster for the Rays and the Red Sox, as well as talking about some key MLB free agents that are still available. And Brad, without further ado, let's jump right in, and you give me your way too early prediction for the Boston Red Sox opening day roster.
Okay, in left field, I have Roman Anthony. DH, I have Jaron Duran. Third base, and returning, Alex Bregman. First base, Wilson Contreras. Right field, Willie Willer Abreu. God, I can't talk today.
Willier.
Trevor Story. Catcher, Carlos Nervas. Second baseman, Marcelo Meyer. And then center fielder would be Ceddanne Rafaela.
Okay, so that's the lineup. What about the pitching rotation?
Pitching rotation, I have Garrett Crochet as the opening day starter. Brian Bello, Tariq Skubal, Zach Gallen, and Joe Ryan. Yeah. Well, they said it's a possible with a trade. So, we'll see.
Okay, bullpen.
Bullpen would be Crawford, Connolly Early, Patrick Sandoval, Peyton Toll, Hunter Dobbins, and Tanner Houck would be the bullpen guy.
Well, didn't Dobbins get traded to the Cardinals?
Might have been, not sure. I was going through the roster today. Maybe I didn't read on that or not. Yeah. Maybe he did. Yeah. Then he would be out then. Then that would be the only one that I have that would be out of my
I mean, they'll find somebody. Somebody will emerge in spring training.
Right.
And then if you had to pick a couple non-roster guys, because I did the same thing for the Rays, what are some spring training invites you think that could make the opening day roster?
I didn't look at any of that, but I have no idea.
I mean, you could have said the password, but
he's gone. He's a Pirate now. He's in Pittsburgh. Let me see real quick, but let me see real quick. Let's see if it gives me anything.
It can be like 2 or 3 guys. It doesn't have to be.
I want to say that when I was looking up the roster, it was giving me like what the Red Sox minor league roster would be. So that would be something that we could look at. This is the 2025 Red Sox, but that's not going to help me at all. I don't need last year's team. Let's see. Well, we do. You know what? I forgot to mention Sonny Gray, didn't I?
Yeah.
As far as players, forgot to mention him, and I forgot to mention Chapman as well. So both of them would be in my rotation.
Well, Chapman's going to probably be the closer.
Most likely, yeah.
Well, if you can't find anyone, I'll get to the Rays while you're looking that up.
That's fine, but yeah, go ahead. I'll look for some.
So for the Rays, the starting lineup for the way too early 2026 Tampa Bay Rays opening day roster. Starting lineup. In left field, Chandler Simpson. At first base, Jonathan Aranda. Third base, Junior Caminero. DHing, Yandy Diaz. Shortstop, Carson Williams. Right field, Josh Lowe. Catcher, Nick Fortes. Second base, Ryan Blade. And in center field, Cedric Mullins.
Okay.
Your starting rotation, Pepio. The top 4 are kind of self-explanatory to me. So Pepio's the ace. Then it goes McClanahan, Rasmussen, Matz, and in the 5th spot, I think there might be competition in spring training between Joe Boyle, Ian Seymour, Yoendrys Gomez, and Jesse Schultens. And in the bullpen is Griffin Jacks, Garrett Clevenger, Edwin Oseda, Brian Baker, Hunter Biggie, Manuel Rodriguez, who's going to be back probably mid-season because he had Tommy John last year, Steven Wilson, Cole Sulcer, Mason Englert, and Kevin Kelly. And the roster breakdown. Infield, first base, Aranda / Diaz. Second base, Valade / Palacios. Shortstop, Williams / Walls, which I don't know why Taylor Walls is back with the Rays. Sorry to all those people that like Taylor Walls. Don't get me wrong, he's a good defender, but he cannot hit. Third base, Caminero, Walls, catcher. And this is where I have my first surprise. Catcher, Fiducia, Fortes, and Keegan. And you'll see why Keegan's on there in a minute. Outfield, left field, Simpson, DeLuca, Valade, Melton, and Justin Henry Malloy, who they just acquired today. And in center, you've got DeLuca, Melton, and Mullins. Right field, you've got Lowe, DeLuca, Valade, Melton. DH, Diaz / Josh Lowe. And, I mean, you could throw maybe Caminero in there every so often, too, so he doesn't get hurt. Spring training invites. Joe Rock, left-handed pitcher. Dom Keegan, catcher. Brady Hopkins, who we're going to talk about on Thursday in our prospect episode. Michael Perrott, who the Rays just acquired from the Orioles. Xavier Isaac, first baseman. Trey Morgan, first baseman, outfielder. Colton Ledbetter, outfielder. And Cooper Kinney, second baseman / third baseman. Because, I mean, to me, would you trust Richie Palacios playing every day at second base? Or Ryan Valade?
I wouldn't know. Seeing that I got to cover them a couple years ago, I wouldn't. Palacios is not a spring chicken, so no.
So you would give a young guy a chance, like a Cooper Kinney or
absolutely, yep.
I there's a couple names I left off. I left Braden Taylor off, but I think he might get an opportunity. Theo Gillen might get an opportunity, even though the outfield's starting to look kind of filled up because you have Lowe, you have Palacios could play the outfield. You have Melton, Henry Malloy. I said DeLuca already. Am I forgetting somebody? Oh, Mullins. Let me go back and see. Yeah, outfield, you have Simpson, DeLuca, Valade, Melton, Mullins, Josh Lowe, Henry Malloy, who could play the outfield. He could also play third base.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I guess we could briefly talk about it now and also talk about it Thursday. The two trades the Rays made so far this offseason. I think both of us, the first one we expected, Brandon Lau.
Yeah, I think that was a one of those. It was coming sooner or later. It was gonna happen. I know there are a lot of people that liked him, but I know he obviously it was time for him to go because he was at the peak for them to get as much back as they could for him. So why not?
Oh, and they did. They got I'm not gonna say a haul, but they got two young players back for him in that 3-team trade with Pittsburgh.
Right. Yep.
But we're going to talk fully about that on Thursday after we do our prospects. Now, What happened?
Sorry about that, bud.
It's okay. But now we are going to talk about some guys that are still free agents, and we're going to try to predict where they sign, starting with Cody Bellinger. The rumor out there is the Yankees are still the front runners to get Cody Bellinger. But where do you see him going? Because I've heard the Yankees, I've heard the Dodgers, I've heard
Yeah,
the Blue Jays.
I've got Yankees, Dodgers, Mets were the three that I saw. One of those three.
Where do you ultimately think he ends up signing?
I think he signs back with the Yankees. I hate to say that, but yeah, I think he stays at pinstripes. Yep.
Okay, predict how many years and how much money he gets from the Yankees.
I'd say 6 years, 170 million.
Okay. I am going to say he goes to the Mets because the Mets need an outfielder. They got rid of Brendan Nimmo. They traded Jeff McNeil. I'm going to say Cohen backs up the Brinks truck. And he gives them. This is going to sound ludicrous, even though they did it with Juan Soto last year. 10 years and $320 million.
Wow. Okay.
Framber Valdez is the next one. And his name, he's kind of flying under the. In your opinion, is he flying under the radar in this free agency period?
I think he's a pretty solid pitcher, has been for the Astros for a while. So, yeah, I think he is flying under the radar.
Where do you think he ends up signing?
I have the Orioles, Blue Jays, or the Mets are the three teams that I saw today. Out of those three, Toronto. I think he goes north of the border with the Jays.
How many years? How much money?
I'll say 3 years, 140 million. I don't think the Jays have the money that a lot of those teams have.
Well, we say that we don't think they have the money, but they've already splurged in the starting pitching market.
That's true. That's right.
They got Dylan Cease.
Yep. That'd be another valuable arm in Toronto.
Well, that rotation is going to be good. You've got
they have to do something after they lost in the World Series.
Yeah. Well, they've got Cease, Barrios, Gossman, Trey Savage, and Ricky Tiedemann, who everybody's forgetting about because he's been hurt and awful the last couple of years in the minors. But I think Framber Valdez, I would have said Astros, but they got the kid from Japan, Imai. So I'm going to say, and the NL East is not going to like this. Steve Cohen breaks out the checkbook again, and Mr. Valdez signs with the Metropolitans for 3 years and $155 million. Ranger Suarez of the Phillies. Where does he sign?
Looks like, Bud, from what I've been reading, the Orioles, Mets, or Cubs. And you know what? Just to stick it to Philadelphia, he goes to the Mets. Just to stick it to the Mets. Or the Phillies, I mean. Excuse me. And I'm going to say, I'll say 5 years, $110 million. Somewhere in that neighborhood.
That's a reasonable chunk of change, but we know Steve Cohen ain't afraid to
shell out money.
No. Ask Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Ask Juan Soto. Ask Clay Holmes. I'm also going to say Ranger Suarez sticks it to the Mets. I mean, to the Phillies, but it's not to go to the Mets. It's to go to the other team you talked about.
Cubs.
I think he goes to the north side of Chicago and goes to the Cubbies. 7 years, $284 million. The Cubs need pitching. You can't rely on Ben Brown and 30 plus year old Jamison Tyon, Kate Horton. You need a guy that's stability in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Now the big fish that's still out there, Kyle Tucker. Where's he gonna sign for how many years and how long?
Kyle Tucker.
I've heard the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Blue Jays, Dodgers, and the Yankees are the three.
Why do we need to give the Dodgers any more help?
No, we don't. No, I think the Jays. I know we've been talking about the Mets and the Jays and the Cubs. That seems to be all the free agents. I could see him signing with the Jays, and I will say 5 years, $500 million, something like that. Something in that.
So a long, semi-long-term deal. I'm also going to say he signs with the Blue Jays, but I think it's going to be 10 years for $460 million.
Okay.
Bo Bichette, where do you think he signs?
Bo Bichette. Obviously not Toronto. I guess.
No, because I think what they're going to do is they're going to move Andres Jimenez to shortstop and put Ernie Clement at second base.
I think if the Red Sox don't sign Bregman, he signs with Boston.
And you move Marcelo Meyer to third base?
Correct.
Because Bichette said he's open to playing shortstop. I mean, second base.
Yeah, I could see the Red
Sox.
I'm
going to throw something out there, and you tell me if I'm a little cray. What about the Rays?
It's a possibility. I mean,
it make all the sense in the world. Isn't he from the state of Florida? Didn't he go to high school in Florida?
I believe he did. And that would be nice for new ownership to make a new splash like that in free agency.
Well, I mean, they did kind of make a splash. I mean, Steven Matz for 2 years.
Yeah.
So the new ownership is showing that they're willing to spend more money than Stu
Sternberg.
Yeah. So let's get to the burning question here. Are the Rays going to sign? And I think we were supposed to talk about this Thursday so we can replace it with something else. But are the Rays going to sign their young core? Caminero, Williams, Aranda, Simpson, Josh Lowe, Jacob Melton, McClanahan, Pepio, Rasmussen. Well, they gave Rasmussen an extension. Was it last year?
I believe so.
Or the year. So he's out of the picture. But are they going to give any of these other guys extensions? The big name is Caminero.
I was going to say you have to. I mean, I guess the fear, Bud, obviously is, you had that incident
Wander
with
Franco.
I don't think that happens again, but I think that's in the back of their mind. Now, again, it's a new ownership group, but I think he's got to be the first one to get extended. But honestly, I would say
Pepio.
The only reason I wouldn't say McClanahan is because he's been hurt. If Shane comes back and pitches like he did prior to him getting hurt, yes, then there's the will to give him an extension. But I think until then, I think Pepio and Cabanero are the two that need to be extended.
Would you give any of the young pitchers like Seymour or Boyle an extension?
I wouldn't say not yet. Let's see how this season plays out with those guys.
I thought, and I want to know what you think. I thought Joe Boyle pitched well in the limited innings he had as a starter.
He did. Now, he'd be one that might be on that cusp of getting an extension just to keep him here, keep him in the organization. But again, that'll be up to ownership.
And same thing with Seymour. Once they moved him into the rotation, it seemed like he got a lot better.
Right.
Schultens and Gomez. Schultens, we've seen this before with him with the White Sox. He has some good starts, but that's it's the White Sox.
Yep.
Sorry, Chicago. But I like what the new ownership group's doing. They're showing they're willing to dish out money. But to Rays fans out there, I still don't understand why you want Kevin Cash gone.
Who said that?
Oh, there's I'm in a bunch of groups on Facebook with Rays fans, and they're like, oh, Kevin Cash is too conservative of a manager. He makes dumb decisions when it comes to taking out pitchers.
Oh.
And he puts guys in the game when it's a bad time to put them in the game. And I'm just like, what are you watching? He knows what he's doing. That's why he's the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays, and we're not.
And these are the same people that will be right behind him when he wins Manager of the Year, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly my point.
I love how people can trigger where they lay on which side of the fence they lay on. When you're winning, and they did prior to last year, they won 90-plus games. And another thing that I got to say to Rays fans, too, you complain about your manager, but no one shows up to the ballpark. So before you start saying anything, maybe it's time for you guys to start showing up at the ballpark. And I think ownership, I think that's the number one focus. The rumors that I've heard from as the season's getting ready to start, I think it's going to happen in HCC, which if anybody knows what that is, that's Hillsborough Community College, which is directly across the street from Raymond James Stadium where the Buccaneers play. So that's the latest I've heard. They'll move the university to a different location and put the stadium there. That's what I've heard. So we're getting out of football season. The playoffs are starting. College football is shifting to the final 8 teams or the final 4. Final 4 teams are set to the national championship games in a couple weeks. So baseball now will start to kick back up, unless you're a hockey fan. Hockey's still going on. But hockey's in the middle of the season. We're getting ready to go on a break next month with the Olympics going on. And if you're a local like me, got an outdoor game in a couple weeks at Raymond James Stadium. But baseball is going to start catching up, and I think you're going to start hearing more on the local radio about the Rays and spring training. But again, the people that want Kevin Cash fired, you're out of here. So, okay, here's my question to them is, who are you going to replace him with?
Exactly my point.
Who?
That's why, like, in those group chats, I want to say something, but I'm like, it's not worth it because it's just gonna reflect back. It's just gonna look like, oh, so you're talking to yourself, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's the same way. They're like, oh, certain guys don't need to be on this team anymore. They shouldn't be here. The main one's Taylor Walls.
He's hard, bud, because he is the type of player that, like you said earlier when you were talking about your defensive alignments and stuff, you said that he's a great he's a great defensive player, but he can't hit the broadside of a barn. I mean, he struggles at the plate. And unfortunately, with what happened a year ago, that was what the Rays had trouble with, getting hits, and not so much getting hits, getting timely hits, getting runners in scoring position home to score runs. And again, we both know, and everyone that's a baseball fan should know, you can't win baseball games if you don't score runs. And that's what the Rays have had issues with the past few years, is they can't score enough runs. If they can get that solved this year, and maybe you Brandon Lau's gone and you make some adjustments here or there, Cash makes it, and then again, all those people that want him gone are going to line up to hold his hand when he's manager of the year at the end of the season in the AL.
Exactly.
So yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Uh-uh.
And then, hey, I do have some joy though. The Pirates are actually spending money.
Well, teams can't stay bad forever. They can't stay bad forever. So.
That's the other thing, is there's group chats I'm in on Facebook with people that are Pirates fans, and they're like, "Oh, we need to trade Paul Skeens. We're never gonna win."
No, that's a guy you build your franchise around. You don't get rid of a franchise.
There's three guys that with the Pirates that you're building your team around: Skeens, Bubba Chandler, and Connor Griffin, who we're gonna talk about on Thursday in our prospect rankings, which don't miss those, because you're probably gonna want to debate us on our prospect rankings and how we do it. Because there's going to be some guys that are missing in our prospect rankings that were in prospect rankings last year. But to the Pirates, I give them credit for going out and getting Brandon Lau and signing Ryan O'Hearn.
Well, I mean, see, you have Skeens already in position. You got to get some position guys there to hit. If you can do that,
got to get O'Neal Cruz to learn how to hit the baseball.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has a cannon of an arm if he could just hit.
And maybe that'll happen this year. Some spring training, some adjustments.
And back to the Rays for a second. Did you see who they hired as their first base coach? Corey Dickerson.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I saw that. I'm like, He was halfway decent with the Rays, but
he
wasn't bad.
Well, I think sometimes if you want to be a manager, you got to start somewhere. So you be a first base coach.
Yeah.
You work your way up to bench coach, and then you have the opportunity to go.
And the thing is, Michael, who was our first base coach last year? Michael Johns.
I believe so.
He left. I think he left and went to another team.
Gotcha.
That's what happens with all these assistants on the Rays. All these assistants is they get better jobs.
Right. Well, I mean, if you like, the coach that I had for my high school team, he always wanted his assistants to go be coaches somewhere else. And if you are a good manager, obviously you don't want to lose those guys, but you don't want to hold them back from being, going up another level and being, a manager themselves.
Yeah. Briefly talk about prospects. Is there any Red Sox prospects you think are going to make the team this year?
I was actually, you were talking to me, Bud, earlier about invitees to spring training. I was going to give you a couple names.
Go ahead.
Devin Sweet, pitched with the Lehigh Valley with the Jays with the Phillies last year. Jason DeLay, the catcher, and the other one I had was TJ Schema, left-handed pitcher that pitched in Double-A Chattanooga last year. Are three that I would look at. As far as prospects, it's hard to say because, again, we had so many prospects from last year, make come up. with
Well, okay, let me rephrase that.
with
Does a guy like Christian Campbell make the team this year?
I think if there's a spot for him, yes. I think it's all going to depend on what happens during spring training. If he can stand out, yes. I think that there's definitely an opportunity for that.
Okay, let's see something here. Let's see if they have baseball league. I kind of want to look at and try to. We could do the Rays right now, and then Thursday we could do the Red Sox. If I think the schedule's already out for next year.
Yes, I already have them. I already have both of them pinned up on in my cubicle at work. So yeah,
You're going to be trying to get to some Rays games this year.
and I also have the Clearwater Threshers minor league schedule up as well. They have their schedules already come out too, so I have their schedule up as well. Hoping to get back to covering the Threshers again if I don't get Rays credentials to cover the Threshers this year too. Again, that was a lot of fun covering minor league baseball last year.
Okay, here we go. We're going to share screen. And we're going to look at the Rays. That's spring training. We don't care about that. First half of the season. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are going to try to predict the Rays record for this season 2 months before the season. Their first series is at the Cardinals for 3 games. Sweep, split, or do they get swept?
I'd say 2 out of 3 for the Cardinals for the Rays. 2 out of 3 for the Rays to win.
And then they go to let's say they take 2 out of 3, so they're 2-1. They go to Milwaukee next. Oof.
Sweep. Unfortunately, the Brewers take all 3.
So that puts them at
2-5.
2-5.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were 2-1.
2-1. Then they would. I'm sorry, it would be 2-4. My apologies. 2-4.
Then they go to Minnesota and play the Twins for 3 games.
Sweep the other direction. I think they sweep the Twins all 3 games.
So that puts them at 3, 4, 5 and 5 and 3, 5 and 4. Oh boy! Then they come home for the Cubbies.
Ooh, they got the Cubs and the Yankees. Oh Jesus, that's a tough home schedule to start the season. There'll be a lot of butts in the seat.
You know what? I'm going to say this. It's early in the season. I think they take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs.
That's a possibility. That I think when I covered them a couple years ago, they took 2 out of 3 from Chicago. I also think
they're 7-5.
I also think they take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees as well. It's early in the
that
season.
Makes them 9-6. Then they go to Chicago and play the White Sox. Sweep. Well, they should sweep the White Sox.
Yes.
They should. But they still have the number 1 Rays arch nemesis, Andrew Benintendi.
Oh. The former Red Sox.
Yep. So, but I'm going to say they do sweep the White Sox. So that puts them at 12-6.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go to Pittsburgh and play the Pirates. You know, one of those games they're going to see Paul Skeens.
I'd say they take 2 out of 3. The one game that they see against him is the game that they don't win.
So 14-7. Then they come home for the Reds for 2 games. Oh, that's my other team. They're going to sweep the Reds. So
I'd be kind of cool to see Ella De La Cruz for 3 games.
Oh, 3 games.
Yeah.
They take 2 out of 3. So they're 16-8. Then they get the Twins at home for 3.
I think
Sweep.
Sweep them. Yeah. Yep.
19-8. Then they get the Guardians on the road for 3.
Oh, that's. I mean, Cleveland made a late charge last year. I don't know. 2 out of 3. I don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2 out of 3. So that makes them 21-9.
Okay.
Yikes!
Giants?
Then they get the Giants and the Blue Jays.
Oof, that's another stuff. Jesus, who scheduled their home? Who scheduled their home games each year? Jesus Christ! Well,
What did they do to the MLB?
The only good thing about that is there's going to be a lot of butts in the seats at Tropicana Field. The first couple, the Yankees. And
what did they do to Did they make the MLB mad?
I don't know. Then you got the Giants and the Jays, who are 2 tough teams, and I know there'll be a boatload of Toronto fans. That's in May. Yeah, that's right. That's before. Is that before Easter or after Easter? That's
before Easter.
It's before Easter. Okay, then they'll still all be down here. But if they're not,
so do they sweep the Giants, or do they take 2 out of 3?
I'll say they take 2 out of 3 against the Giants, and the Jays. I think they lose 2 out of 3.
22-10, and then 23-12, and then they get Boston for 4
games. Is it on the road? They always play Boston tough on the road, though, at Fenway Park. I'll say a split.
3 out of 4.
2. Okay.
3 out of 4. So that puts them at 25 and 13.
Wins? Yeah.
Then they play the Blue Jays for 3. Lord have mercy. That is not a fun road trip.
They're going to have all their games against Toronto out of the way before the first half of the season's over. Jeez Louise.
I think they take 2 out of 3 from Toronto. Okay. So that puts them at 27-14. They sweep the Marlins. 30. Oh boy. Here we go. Then they get the Orioles for 3.
Pete Alonso's new team.
Oh. 2 out of 3?
Yeah, you get 2 out of 3. That's fine. Yeah.
29-15. Yeah, 29-15.
They got the Yankees on.
I think they take the 2 out of 3 from the Yankees again. So that puts them at 31-17. Then they get the Orioles again for 3.
On the road? Right. Yep. Home. Oh, okay.
On the road.
They got the O's at home, then they go on the road to play the Yankees and the O's. Okay.
I think they take 2 out of 3 again from Baltimore.
I was gonna say I'd say 2 out of 3 also.
So that puts them at 36-18. Mm-hmm. And then they come home for the Angels.
She should sweep the Angels. Should.
40. So that puts them at 40 wins. And then they get the Tigers at home. You know one of those games is going to be Turek Skubal.
I'd say 2 out of 3.
Unless Skubal gets traded.
Right.
So that would put them at 42 wins and 19 losses. Then they go to Miami.
Should sweep the Marlins. Sweep.
So that is 43, 44, 45, and 17. Then they get the Red Sox again for 3. 2 out of 3.
Okay.
49-19. Then, oh boy. Then they get their West Coast trip.
In
3 with the Angels. Sweep.
Yeah.
50, 52, what? 50, 51, 52. 52 wins. Then they go to the Dodgers. Oh boy. Sweep. They're gonna get swept.
Yeah, I was gonna say they lose all three in LA. Yeah.
22, so they're 52 and 22. Then they get the Nationals at home. That should be a sweep.
Mm-hmm.
55 and 22. Royals at home for 4.
3 out of 4?
3 out of split.
Split? Okay.
So that puts them at 57 and 24. Then they get the Diamondbacks. It's a new look Diamondbacks team, so I'm going to say 2 out of 3. So it puts them at 59 wins, 59 and 26. Kansas City on the road for 3.
2 out of 3?
I think they return the favor and take 2 out of 3.
Okay.
So we're 60 and 28. Then we get the Astros on the road for 3.
2 out of 3?
2. Yeah, I can see us taking 2 out of 3. So 62 and 30. Then we get the Yankees.
I'd say split by then. By then you'll know who they are.
Yeah, split. So 63, 64. So 64 and 24. 3 with Seattle.
At home. 2 out of 3? Against the Mariners?
Yeah, 2 out of 3. So 66 and 31.
Okay.
And that looks like it's it for the first half. We will do the second half on Thursday. And I think that's going to, you want to end it there?
Yeah, we go right there, bud. Then we can focus on the prospects and stuff on Thursday and get the second half of the Rays, and then we'll do the Red Sox next week on Tuesday and Thursday. We'll go through the first half, second half of their schedule next week. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for today's episode of the Around the Diamond podcast. We will see everybody again Thursday at the same time for our prospect show and the second half of the Rays schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about in-depth full thoughts on the Lau and Shane Boss trade. But till then, we will see everybody then. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday night.
Yeah, everybody.